So prior to the 14th century, in 329 BCE, the city was taken over by Alexander III of Macedon. In 260 CE, the Sasanians came into power, and then in 712, the city was taken over by forces of the Umayyad Caliphate. Also before the 14th century, in 892, Ismail ibn Ahmad moved the capital to Bukhara after his brother Nasr died. And then in 1210, Ala ad-Din Muhammad II took over Samarkand. And then in 1221, the city was taken over by forces of the Mongol Genghis Khan. Moving forward into the 14th century, in 1356 there was a huge uprising against the Mongol control, and then in 1396 the city became the capital of Timurid with a population of 150,000, and then in 1405 the Bibi Khanim Mosque in Gur-e-Amir was built. Also something to keep in mind, the 14th century was the first heyday time period. Throughout the 15th and 18th century, in 1494 the siege of Samarkand began. In 1505, the city was taken over by the Uzbeks of Muhammad Shaybani. In 1599, then the Ashtarkhanids of Bukhara came into power. Lastly, the Mangits of Bukhara then took over in 1756. In the 19th century, or otherwise known as the Second Heyday time period, Russia came into power. Later on, the Russians turned the city to make it become the capital of Samarkand Oblast of Russian Turkestan. The 20th century is the last century we will discuss today. Statistics show that in 1900 the population was around 58,000. 14 years later the population grew to 90,000. Then 11 years later in 1925 the city became the capital of Uzbek Socialist Republic. Finally in 1930 the Uzbek capital relocated from Samarkand to Tashkent. So as most people know, Samarkand was well known for its trade, mainly because they were located right in the center of the Silk Routes. People in Samarkand were skilled craftsmen and created beautiful pottery pieces. At some point their leader, Timur, also helped bring about an advancement in architecture. Migrations from all over the continent, such as masons, archers, and silversmiths, added to the economy a lot as well. So some reasons why Samarkand grew was because it was a green, fertile land. This naturally caused a group of people to create a permanent settlement here. As trade routes between the Afro-Eurasian continents increased, many traders came through here. Soon, this caused the city to become more popular, allowing growth from all of the people migrating it. The Silk Road also helped Samarkand grow because there would be much travel and trading various goods and clothing in Samarkand. Also, Samarkand had a diverse population that spoke many different languages. This allowed Samarkand people to communicate with each other and with European and Asian traders about their ideas and products. A commonly asked question about Samarkand is if it's religiously significant, and the answer to that is yes. Samarkand was referred to as a melting pot of various cultures because it was located right along the Silk Routes. When travelers often passed through, people of Mongolian, Indian, Persian, and some Chinese influences were found. Most recognized were the Islamic traditions, and most of the population spoke Arabic. Before Islam, however, Buddhism and Hinduism were the major religions. The Islamic religion traveled to Samarkand via the Silk Road system. Society in Samarkand followed the Islamic tradition, where it was somewhat patriarchal, where men controlled most to all of the family's activities. However, women did have some control over their homes, and as time progressed, women gained more power. Samarkand was made up of Turks, Kazakhstanis, and Uzbeks. Now it is made up of Uzbeks and Tajiks. Also, the religion remains the same, which is Islam, because during its heyday it was mostly made up of Muslims, and to this day the majority are also Muslims. There are many innovations that had a big effect on Samarkand's trade routes, such as using camels instead of horses, because camels could travel longer distances and didn't need as much water as horses did, and they were considered more useful in that area. Another advancement was the introduction of the paper mills from China. These allowed new products to be released, increasing the city's exports. The Sogdian script was also an innovation which was based on the ancient Aramaic language, which improved communications while trading. To this day, Samarkand is still located in the country of Uzbekistan. That's going to be the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys learned something about Samarkand.